Hey everybody, and we're back for another episode. Today we're going to do one of our favorite kind of videos, one that I like to do, and it's a full review of lunch at ABC Commissary. I believe it was lunch. Either way, I don't think the menu changes too much between the lunch and the dinner, but it was probably somewhere between lunch and dinner, so that we were eating at a time between meals to cut down on wait times. So again, so that you know how we do it, we have a 1 through 5 scale, 1 being not so good at all, and 5 being the best for the different questions. So we have theme, we have perks or extras you can get, the value, and the food, and our last one is, would we go back to that particular restaurant? If you've seen, we've done Pinocchio Village House, and our first one that we did was a review of Be Our Guest to Lunch. So if you haven't seen those, make sure you go back and watch them. That way, if you're going to Disney, you may say, I want to go there, or I may not want to go there. And both of those two were at Magic Kingdom. This is our first that we're doing outside of the Magic Kingdom. This is at Hollywood Studios. Since we've eaten there, which was a little over a year ago, the menu has changed a little bit. We'll kind of go over that. Again, it's Disney, and they'll play around with menus at a lot of restaurants. So even if we were there like a week ago, it could have changed by then even. So we'll go over what we got, but then you'll have kind of an idea of what's going on with it. So first, let's talk about theme. All right. All right, so just go 3, 2, 1, contact.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
All right. So we kind of went with the same there. Do you want to explain why you went 3 with the theme?
I went 3 with the theme because there's just like a couple little glass enclosures that had like memorabilia from different shows.
Like the Goldbergs and
Yeah, and
right.
like that's what it is. It's supposed to be like a cafeteria, like on a movie set or
a
like
TV
on
studio.
Yeah.
Right. I went with 3, kind of for the same reason.
It didn't wow me.
Right. It won't wow you unless you love some of those TV shows. I remember it was at General Hospital. There was like a banner out front.
Yeah, that I did.
That wowed her.
Yeah, I do like General Hospital, so
right.
That was fun.
So the original kind of idea of Hollywood Studios was MGM Studios, and it was a working TV and movie studio, and they would use it for some things, but not a lot. They don't use it anymore, and a lot of what used to be there as far as that experience of being behind the scenes watching things happen isn't really there anymore. They took out the ride where you would be able to tour those studios and things like that, and it was a big ride. That was kind of the big thing that was to do there. And I remember when I went there in, I think, 92, 91, something like that, and that was there, and I remember riding it, and I saw the Golden Girls house and things like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, Blanche and Sophia are going to come out and start waving and things like that. You know what I mean? And it's that's not what the park is anymore. But you can see bits and pieces of it. And this is one of those things where it's a bits and piece kind of a thing. You go and if you go to I'm trying to think. If you go to 30 Rock, Rockefeller Center, where they film a lot of NBC shows, you're going to go to their cafeteria. It's going to be similar. Okay, that's a working TV studio at that building in New York City, and your cafeteria that you're going to go and eat in is just going to be your run-of-the-mill cafeteria. It will have memorabilia there too, but this is very similar to that. You're going to go, and they're going to have some memorabilia from ABC shows because of ABC and Disney kind of working together and their ownership. But as far as the theming, if you're like super wowed by a theme of a cafeteria, then you're going to love it. I'm not necessarily wowed by the theme of a cafeteria, but I also was looking at it and I was like, "Whoa, this is exactly what a cafeteria would be on a lot for filming your TV shows." So it's not gonna be like the most amazing thing that you will ever have seen, but it wasn't like a theme that I would hate. I'm not gonna go in and be like, oh, it's a theme of, I don't even know what I would hate, but something that I wouldn't necessarily like. So I give it a 3 because it's kind of mediocre. It's average on to me. Is that fair?
And do you remember the table that we sat in? It was the long. It had one side that was a long booth,
right?
And then the table.
Yes.
And they were pretty close together. I remember, like, there was a family. Like, one member of their family was sitting at our table,
but turned around.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So.
So yeah.
Right.
Pretty close together.
Yep. Okay. Let's move on to perks, extras. Okay. So. All right, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1, go. Give it a 1. All right, go ahead.
I couldn't really think of any perks.
All right. So no perks.
For me, no perks.
No perks.
Unless you say something and then it's going to remind me of a
it
perk.
will remind you of it.
Okay.
They had the Odwalla slushies where you got a Mickey straw.
That's right.
And that's a pretty good perk for me, especially if you're doing the meal plan, because that counts towards your drink. You don't have to pay extra for it, which is nice. So it's
right,
definitely.
I'll change it. I'll give it a 2 since it has the Mickey
All right.
straw.
I don't remember setting up the rules, so we'll allow it. So that's my perk. Now, saying that, you're not going to necessarily go and you're not going to get a big condiments section like you would at Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Restaurant. Or some of the other restaurants like that. There's no extra drink bar like there would be at Sunshine Seasons. Nothing like that. But that straw, like, we got them at a couple of different places. I think we did a snack credit for one in Magic Kingdom once also. So we have a couple of those straws. There's something you can bring back with you, and they're not overly big. So as you're buying stuff and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is not going to fit in my suitcase to get home. What am I going to do? Straws are tiny, and they're going to be able to fit in your suitcase. So I look at it as like a really good but small souvenir that you can bring back with you. So that's kind of like why I looked at it and was like, wow, that's kind of a perk to me. I did like that. So I know Pinocchio Village House I don't think had the extra drinks. So one thing we do look at sometimes when we pick restaurants is can you get signature or extra drinks? Because not a lot of places do, and if they don't, then and especially if you're on the meal plan, then you're kind of shorting yourself a little bit, because if the meal costs $15 or $16 or something, but your drink costs the normal price for a fountain drink, then you're kind of getting your minimum. But if you get an extra drink or something that goes a little bit beyond, so your slushies are maybe $1 to $3 more expensive than a soda fountain drink. So if you do that, if you get that extra drink, then you're kind of making a little bit more a better decision with your money, which will come when we get to value, which I guess leads us into value, right? So value. All right, so go 3, 2, 1. All right. So another one that's the same. Why did you go with 4?
Wait. Do I say what we got yet, or is that?
Oh yeah. Well, that's food, but you can go over your food and say not just like how it tasted, but was it worth?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the chicken club, and it was $10.99, and it came with coleslaw and then your side. So I thought that was a pretty good value for, your drink, It was a pretty decent sized sandwich too.
Yeah,
so.
it was a pretty good size. It was not breaded, right? It was grilled.
Yeah.
So again, if you're eating on that lot and you're working for the company, I guess that they would want you to eat like healthier, like grilled stuff. And I would say like a lot of the options did look like a bit healthier than like Backlot Express, where it was like a cheeseburger with pulled pork on the top or something. They didn't really have that kind of an option. But getting to mine, which was a little bit of probably an unhealthier option, but mine, probably low carb-ish, other than the side. It was, which they don't have on the menu anymore, but it was a few pieces of pulled pulled pork, a few pieces of rib, like barbecue rib with dry rub, I think, and some barbecue chicken. So I think like 2 pieces of barbecue chicken and maybe 2 ribs or something like that. And then I got my side, which I had French fries. And I think that it was the most expensive item on the menu for that. So I don't remember if it was like $15.99 or something like that. Probably. Again, they took that off the menu now. You can still get the ribs, but they don't have the chicken with it. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they give you another extra rib or something like that. But I would say that when I get ribs at restaurants, I'm really pretty... that'll be into food. But I think the value for what I got was good. Getting the ribs and the chicken would be more like going to maybe getting like a rib and chicken basket maybe at like an Applebee's or something. So not necessarily even fast food, but more like your casual sit-down chain. So like an Applebee's or something like that. So what I paid for it, I was pretty happy. And like I said, I got the extra juice, so the slushy as opposed to a fountain soda. So it was like a better deal. So value-wise, I think that the amount of food that you get for the price is pretty good. At that point, I was like probably like eating, like I was like full, I'd say, with the amount of food that I got. So the value for me was pretty good. All right, so we'll move on to food. All right. All right, so go 3, 2, 1. All right.
Okay.
All right, so tell us about your chicken club sandwich.
It was pretty good. I normally like breaded chicken over grilled chicken. So when I ordered it, I wasn't really too sure like how good it was going to be, but I was like, oh, I'll just try it. And it was pretty good. I remember it was juicy.
I remember. I did take a bite of it, which probably was why I didn't want to finish my meal because I filled up on taking a bite of that. It was good. I was very happy with it. It was on, I don't think it was on bread.
No,
I think it was on like a ciabatta or
like
just like a roll.
Yeah.
And the coleslaw you did not like, right?
Yeah.
Is that why you docked it to like a 4?
Yeah, I guess.
It probably just not your favorite meal, would you say? But it was very good.
Yeah, it was good. I do like coleslaw, but it depends because everybody makes theirs a little bit different, so it just kind of depends.
Right. And what side did you get?
I got apple slices.
Apple slices.
Yeah.
And how were the apple slices? Was it prepackaged? Like...
Yeah, it was just the prepackaged apple slices that you just get and you open.
Okay. Do you remember because I think you got a slushie also. Do you remember the slushie?
I don't remember.
Okay. I gave mine a 5. And here's where I was going to get into it. I'm very picky with going and getting ribs at a restaurant. Depending on the restaurant, sometimes they're very tough. And these were actually pretty well done compared to a lot of restaurants that I have been to. They weren't tough. It really fell off the bone, and it was very good. And the chicken, like she said, was very juicy, but the outside was crisp, which isn't always easy to do because sometimes that chicken will sit somewhere. And it will, that crispiness will kind of go away because it'll just sog out, like get soggy from sitting. But it was good. I think it was a breast and a leg, or like a drumstick, and that's like your normal that you would get. And I was very happy with it. And again, going into it, and maybe that's why it was so good, is that my expectations were so low. And another thing about that particular restaurant is, if you watch other videos, other reviews, they're like, it's usually reviewed pretty low. Like people are like, the food isn't always that good and the decor is not that good, and I think that's why it docks it so much. Is people go in with very low expectations, and you go in and you expect that you're just gonna eat it in a cafeteria. But I went in and I was very pleasantly surprised. I got the fries and they were your normal Disney fries, but I like the Disney fries. They're pretty crisp and they're good. And I'm not a coleslaw eater anyway, so I'm not going to dock it points on that. That's my taste, and I don't eat it. So I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't like the coleslaw, obviously, because I don't like coleslaw. So I didn't eat it. But I remember the slushie was very good. And I think we usually, we went in, I think it was April, so it was not like overly hot. So we wouldn't necessarily need to cool down, but it was cold and it was very good. Sweet, and I don't remember the flavors. It was probably strawberry, I think is what it was. So that was good. I was very, very happy with it. I will say, again, going back to that straw, now that I'm thinking about it, is when you're trying to drink the slushy through the straw, those are tiny, like very thin straws. So they're very good to like drink iced tea or soda or something when you're home. But it's not as easy to drink those slushies when you're not at Disney. Would you say? Do you remember that? I remember drinking like, whoa, it's like trying to drink a thick milkshake through a straw, but whatever. But yeah, my food definitely. I am going with a 5. It was good. Very, very pleasantly surprised with how good it was. Again, if you go there, I'm not going to guarantee that the food's going to be as good. It was just that good when I ate it at that time. So don't go and eat it and be like, oh my gosh, what tough ribs. Disney Channel, you're lying to me. Well, it's each time you go might be a little bit different. When we went, thank goodness, it was just very good. So I was happy with it. And I guess that brings us back to, would we go back? All right. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. We went with the same one anyway. Try again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Why did you go with a 3?
I went with the 3 because the decor mainly.
Okay.
Because I do like the restaurants that do have more theming than what is there. But the food was good, so
Right.
I don't know, a 3.
All right. I went with a 3, kind of for the same reason. Like, I would not go back for the decor, definitely.
Yeah.
I might go back for the food, but again, because sometimes other people have reviewed it so low, I feel like we just really lucked out, and lightning doesn't always strike twice in the same place. So if we went back, I'm not 100% sure that the food would be as good, but it was good. So just for the food itself, that's what would bring me back. And the other thing that might bring me back is it's inside, so it's cool if it's
That is
really
true.
hot.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
And it's a kind of a pretty central location in Hollywood Studios. And the third thing is, the next time we go back, well, we already have our dining planned for that trip, but Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is going to be open then, and the park, like just the park in general, is going to be extremely crowded, and that might be the bottom of everybody's list because of other reviewers. So that might actually benefit you if you're going to be there, because if everything else is super crowded, Toy Story Land, Woody, is it Woody's Lunchbox, or Andy's Lunchbox? Switch remember. It's going to be crowded because it's still pretty new. Disney's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, brand new. It's going to be just extremely crowded. Backlot Express, it's an extremely good restaurant, very good theming and good food. We'll review that sometime soon. But because it is such a high tier, like on pretty much everything, it's going to be way more crowded than this restaurant. But don't knock this restaurant. It's actually pretty good. So because other people review it so low, you might luck out, and it might not be overly crowded. A nice place to sit down, a nice place for some air conditioning, and maybe some healthier options. I know that there's like a salad on there now and things like that. So that is the review for the
ABC Commissary?
the ABC Commissary. If you've eaten at the ABC Commissary and agree with us, please leave a comment. If you disagree with us, leave a comment and let us know why. Maybe when you went, the food wasn't as good. But definitely share the video with anybody that you know that's going to Disney, especially Hollywood Studios, because this might really help them out. And thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, and please subscribe for more up-to-date Disney reviews and information. So with that, we'll see you guys the next time we do a video. Thanks a lot, and see you later.